Alright guys, so this is the Lenovo that was faulty, heats up around here and stops charging. We have fixed it, and if you want to know how we did that, watch till the end of the video. Let me just test it for you to show you that it works. So I'm going to plug this end into the extension, right there into the extension, and then bring our laptop and plug it in and see if it does indeed light. That's it. So watch till the end to see everything we've gone through. Thank you. Now that you liked the previous video, we have another Lenovo charger that has a problem, and I would like the owner to describe.
Usually when I plug it into the socket, it press charge for a few seconds, but it heats up above
This area.
Yeah, that side it kind of heats up
And then stops.
Yeah, can't do anything else after that.
Okay. Yeah. So, based on his description, the problem feels similar like the one we had last time for the other guy, where it would only charge after bending a bit here until it failed completely. Anyway, let's dive right in. So stay around. I want to show you how you take apart this thing neatly, and then proceed on with getting it fixed. Now, to take it apart, remember last time we used a reagent that sort of dissolves petroleum products, the glue used in between, and a couple of you guys made a bit of suggestions. You actually love the video. So anyway, this is what I normally use. This is gasoline, what in British speaking countries would be called petrol. It is part an organic solvent because it's a low, we call it a low carbon organic compound, I think so. Those tend to be become good solutions for other organic solvents for other organic compounds. So I am using a piece of paper. I fold it this way so that when I dip it in the liquid, it picks up some, and then I deliver. Now I need to make it deliver it so it passes only through that gap right there in between, and any excess that goes to the side needs to be wiped. And on that account, I think I should need cotton, but now that I don't have, I'll make do with any ability. So let me dip it in here and then put it in there. Now I hope you guys will be able to see the liquid run down the groove that separates the two plates. Okay, it's right between. Now one of you had suggested I use a blade and direct the liquid in, but that assumes that this thing is just a gap into which you can slide the blade. But the problem is the plastic goes in and then moves into the side. So even if you wanted to use a blade, it may be a lot difficult to control the amount. Now with this piece of paper, I only absorb little at a time, and then that little goes down the drain. One of you complained that it's a waste of time to do this. I should just pry it apart, but that would make the plastic come off in a rugged way, which makes it ugly after the repair. Now let me give it about a minute to interact with the solvent that I have provided, and that should allow us some time for it to be able to get apart easily. Now I need to also get my multimeter ready because I'm going to take some measurements, and those will help inform our decision as to what's the cost towards repairing this and getting it functioning. And anyway, if you're also new here, take this moment to hit the subscribe button. I'm actually very grateful to those who already subscribed, because analytics shows me that you guys are returning in big numbers. And I have only one request. If you really don't mind, help me watch from the beginning to the end, because I'm chasing the watch hours. The idea is to get monetized such that I can add some equipment towards delivering you these repair videos. So the aim here is that we teach you repairs, both as a hobby and as business, starting with bringing you actual devices under repair, so that you watch the process with us from the beginning to the end, so that you can reproduce these repairs despite never having seen them inside. We then follow them up with review videos that will help you figure out what actually was happening. And then on top of that, the third category of videos are theoretical, introducing you to the physics and science behind each component and how it functions, so that you are able to diagnose or troubleshoot wholly new devices that haven't been tackled in this video. Now here, I think I've gotten some time, let us pull them apart, and that comes off nicely. Now the challenge is most people do not care whether the thing looks good after repair. That's bad. I prefer that you repair it in a way that even people who see it later on are unable to tell that the thing was taken apart, or need to take critical attention to be able to figure that out. Now that we have this open, we are going to take measurements from the ends of these wires to confirm whether there's a short along the length. If there's a short along the length and we are measuring in continuity mode, we'll have a beep that will tell us that, oh, okay, at that point the cable keeps touching itself and shorting out the adapter. Alright, now it's in continuity mode, so this is what I'm going to expect if it is shorted. So lucky enough, Lenovo only employs 2-pin solution, unlike Dell and HP that do a 3-pin. You hear that? So that is behaving like a wire. That means this thing is shorted within. So this is normally a problem that I tend to charge about 15k Ugandan shillings for, because this is an original adapter and these are actually very durable. Most of the problems you have with them is when this is short, and if it keeps on doing that, at times it affects this, but they're actually resilient to when they sense a short. There's a system here that shuts out the adapter and you don't get power to that side. And that's the beauty with the original. Now the new replacement ones are not from the manufacturer, so they are shortly done, and I do not recommend people buying that. I actually recommend that they buy used originals should they have lost their original ones. So anyway, the next step is I need to disconnect this and take you through the next stage of the process, which involves me using some bit of surgical blade. I also need my soldering gun. I need to really get organized, but let me find it and come back. Alright, so my soldering gun is right here. Now, I just wanted to show you how to pick this out, and this falls under the video soldering. So there's a video I did about soldering and what it is. So go right there. I'll attach it at the link in the top corner there, so that you can know what I'm doing right here, so that you don't think it's any form of magic or any much difficult. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 2 fingers to be pulling this away, and these 2 fingers are holding the adapter while this other hand applies heat at the terminals. So let's do that. Apply the heat to both terminals concurrently. Okay, I feel like one is already out. Is it? Okay, so alright. Why is this resisting? Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so that's out. Let me just clear that opening. I hope you guys are seeing what is happening here. Lately I have found my suction tool. It has been hiding every time I needed to suck out the excess solder, so that opens up that hole. then okay, the other hole is open. I just wanted it to be okay and ready when we return to resolder this back. Now let's measure the ends of the cable while they're not plugged into the adapter, so that we confirm that the short is on the cable side and not on the adapter side. So check, then let's bring it to the terminals right there, and you can see that there is a short. These two wires should not in any way be connected, but since it describes this is the part that overheats up, it's ideally the part that is shorted out. Now I need to cut it. Any chance you've seen pliers around the thing? Okay, I think since pliers are hidden, let me look for scissors. Okay, it's not what I had in mind, but I've not seen it in a while. Okay, little plier. Feels like a joke. Let me find surgical blade. Okay, I need to, now that we've cut this, I need to trim this at this point, like that, and then we can pull this out so that we expose this here. And a bigger plier would have done a big job, but let me try to use this. Okay, that peels that. Now let's confirm if the short is still there or gone. And it is gone. That means that segment is the one that's shorted out. Here, no beep. And when I pick this, the beep is there, so somewhere there. But we're not going to throw this away because we need the thing looking neat. So we need to cut this off, cut this, and shove this other end of our wire inside so that we retain its aesthetics. Now this is the point that I normally dread, where I play around with the surgical blade to cut through this wire. I hold it upwards to the cutting forces away from my supporting fingers, so it's like I'm dissecting. This part is a bit easy, but as we go towards the base, it hardens. Now this point is the one that gives me nightmares. I don't know whether I should continue with it on camera, but let me try doing it this way so that it is supported not by my hand but by the surface. So we are getting there. I have very little space remaining. I hope it can allow me to proceed to the end. So yeah, all this to restore this charger, but it's worth it being an original charger. I know after we've done this it shall be friendly. Okay, now let me try to use my screwdriver to widen that part. The Lenovo makes it really hard at this point, but if it were an HP or a Dell, this part is not really that reinforced. Okay, we're using sharp things. It's not good to become impatient, because that's where you lose concentration and butcher your finger, which will be traumatizing. Okay, that was a call, but I'll return the call because I need to finish this video. I think that's out. I suppose that's all out. Now, next stage is me trying to thread this through the center of that. Okay, let me twist this onto itself to make it easier to manage, like that. But because I used gasoline, I may need to clean it with that, since I don't want it to be slippery. And that's at the point where I will be applying super glue to close it. Okay. forget to use the hem of my trouser. Okay, that's fine. Now let's shove it inside here, but we need to pick out this remnant of the old teeth out. Alright, then that's that. Now we get this into the center like that. Okay, a bit of fighting there to push it in. I think I have to find that. Alright, so let's proceed and mask tape the ground terminal, this portion that may be left dangling on the inside, and that's to protect it from shorting to any component on the inside. Alright, now the next stage is we are going to solder this onto the board. Okay, now I forgot to mention something in the beginning, that you have to note the color of the wires and where they were going, but anyway, when we reach there I will show you, in case you've forgotten, how to know where what cable and where it would go, because I also forgot to show you that. Unless you actually rewind the video, you will be able to see that. That's the liberty you have when you're recording, but if you weren't, then you just have to know, either from experience or convention, what's the right thing to do. Now I have just applied flux. This flux prevents oxidation of the solder while being melted onto the solder point. So you first tin the point that you're going to insert, such that you don't have trouble soldering it. Now that that's done, the next stage is to solder it onto the thing, but I will first trim it because of not leaving it hanging in there. Now usually white, and if you find red, are the positive terminals, and then black is usually the negative terminal. Now on the adapter, the positive terminal is usually written as V out, voltage out, that's the positive, and then here we have used R and T for the ground, like return, but that is what we would call the negative terminal if you're dealing with DC current. Let me trim this, it's also a bit long. I want this neat, so let's plug that right under there, and then it will come over from the other side. That's why we prepared that hole earlier on in the video, to allow for a time such as this. And I'm going to use my other hand to help me zoom out. Pinch together. Okay. Thank you. That's one of my friends, Chris. Fortunately I don't show faces here, so you may not meet him, but just know he's contributed to your learning. Okay, I think I ended up soldering over that hole. I need to suck the solder off the opening to open up that. If you don't have, you can always just melt and blow a pulse of air into it with your mouth. As you quickly as you retract, immediately you retract the solder gun iron. So I told me to stop calling it gun, because a person may be passing by my window and say, hey, I heard them talking about gun, but it's a soldering iron. Guys, I have no gun, please. Okay. Right. I think many of you may not understand that joke. Here in Uganda, guns are illegal, and therefore having it is literally being a rebel. And the government doesn't want such opposition. So, alright. Now that is soldered. I think let me just show you the outcome right there. Hope it is clear. Now the next stage is just simply us closing it up and testing. But for now, before we proceed, it's really nice to test every stage of the repair. So I'm going to again test for continuity at those probes, and then confirm that there's no short anymore before I proceed. Okay, multimeter there in continuity mode. Test the multimeter, then come test the probes, no short. I now are able to read the internal resistance of the output side of the adapter or capacitor thereof. And now let's just close. Stay with me as we put this together. So now this is where the pliers come in handy. I'm going to pass some super glue in the middle there and use the plier to squeeze them to squeeze this together. That's why you have to take it apart in a very clinical way. Okay, now let me use this plier. I don't know whether you're able to see, and squeeze this whole together and hold it there for about 2-3 minutes. I'll come back after 3 minutes. Let me take this opportunity to wipe some of the excess. It's not obvious that super glue was used here. Okay, that reminded me of a thing we used to write in our classrooms towards the end of leaving the school. Edmond was here. I don't want super glue saying I was here. Right. Okay, so I think that's okay. I'll finish up these points after I close up this. I'll bring out pieces of plastic. This. Okay, so this I think is the orientation. I think, and then this sits in there. That comes over there. This slides in. All right, I ran out of charge now. Sorry, storage. I'm using another device, and so we had put this piece of plastic, and the next stage is to sort of glue them together, and therefore we're going to bring our super glue. Now we take advantage of this side that has the protrusion to place the glue, and then this side simply receives it. But before we go there, this under part is very easy to forget giving it. So let's first apply this to that. I think this one is no really outright side because none of them seems to have that protrusion. And let's slide that in. Having slid that in, I think it is in, and now we bring this other end and also apply super glue to it. Make sure you only apply it to the protrusion so that when you bring the two together, super glue is not spilling over. Okay, now this point. Oh, what I didn't tell you is that while we wipe, is that gasoline actually can eat your plastic and make it brittle. So you want to be sure that it only flows through the gap between the two pieces of plastic that hold the charger together, and that will help you deliver a neat piece of work. Okay, now bring this to okay. Now let's hold it together for about a minute or two for the super glue to gain initial strength so that it sets well. All right, and then I keep around. I'm going to plug it in and measure the voltage output on this other end of the pin to confirm to you that it is working. And as we wait the 1 minute together, I implore you to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and if you're returning, my request is that you always watch my subsequent videos for the entire duration so that we build that 4,000 watch hours necessary for monetization on top of the 1,000 subscribers needed. That will avail me a bit of money to buy components and material for the explainer videos that tend to follow this and the theoretical videos. I'm quite glad to have you here, and if you've watched from the beginning, respect. I very much cherish the sign and expression of love that you give us here. And I think much as 2 minutes haven't elapsed, I believe it has formed some sufficient strength. And now let me plug this other end to the socket, which unfortunately I won't be able to show you because my camera is fixed, but at least I'll show you this output side as I measure with the voltmeter. So I'm going to plug it in. I think you can hear it enter. It has entered. Bring back our multimeter. Now we're going to move it to voltage mode and then measure the voltage. Now that charger is, all Lenovo normally implements 20 volts, so that's what we expect on this other end. And okay, I'm outside the range because I've set it to measure up to a maximum of 20, so I think it's just slightly above, so I'm going to set it to 200 so that it's not beyond the limit. Okay, so 20.9 volts, that's good. And then maybe let's also bring the laptop and just plug it in to have the satisfaction of it. Okay, so this is the input socket, and you can see it light up. So like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video.